Welcome everyone to my second drum video, and it's part of my new YouTube drumming channel called Whole Lotta Drumming. Now the follow-up, very important. This follow-up video, the second video, thought I would get into some serious business here and get right down to the basics. Now, us drummers, we're always concerned about playing proper time, keeping the time going. It's just basically what makes up our whole essence. That's our role, timekeepers. So I thought this would be probably a great opportunity to show you my take on timekeeping and how to develop it. And if you are a drummer that your timing is great, you need to maintain it. Okay, so just like a muscle, you have to maintain good timing. So how do we go about this? Well, that's what today's video is about. Stick around and I'll show you how to improve your timing in 10 days. I've been performing on stage for a very, very long time, since I was 13 years old. And through my development of performing, I've been able to play with so many fabulous musicians. And when I was younger, a lot of the musicians I played with were much older than me and wiser. I would pick their brains about stuff, okay? And one of the things I kept asking musicians when I was younger was kind of like a survey. And I would say, what is it that you look for in a drummer? What do you value most from a drummer? What is it? I'm curious as a drummer, right? But the number one answer was, take a guess. Their number one answer is their ability to keep solid time. Okay, that's what other musicians want. At that point in time in my career, my timing was pretty good. The problem was this. I had certain tempo ranges where I felt comfortable, but then whenever I played outside of those tempo ranges, that's where I would either speed up or slow down. So I started listening to these musicians and I started doing that. I started to go to my gigs and just would focus on keeping good time, solid, and making it feel good. It's challenging unless you practice playing at those tempos. Here's how I went about developing my time. You start off with 60 beats per minute. That's our start. Why 60? Well, that's the tempo of seconds. New Year's Eve, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You get it? Rocket ship taking off. That's 60 beats per minute. Everybody can probably tap that because it's conditioned into our brain. So that's our starting point, is 60 beats per minute. Here's what you do. You put 60 beats per minute on your metronome, you sit behind your kit, and just play to 60 and play anything. The idea is for you to become comfortable playing at 60 beats per minute. It could be groove, you could be soloing, you can do like 2 bars time, 2 bars fill, you can, whatever, it's up to you. Point is that you are learning how to play in 60. Because remember this, it's not the notes that you play, right? It's the spaces in between the notes that determines good time. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, great. So that was 60 beats per minute. Second tempo. Let's now change it to 70 beats per minute. Do the same thing. Put it on and play for 5 minutes. Play for 10 minutes. We'll be discussing how long you should be practicing each tempo a little later. But now your whole world is 70. You just live, breathe, eat, sleep, 70. That's all you're doing, 70. And you play whatever, okay? Groove, time, solo, whatever. Here's an example. So now, third tempo. You guessed it, increments of 10, go to 80 beats per minute. Do the same thing, okay? Here's an example. Great. So do the same thing at 90 beats per minute. Here's an example. Same thing at 100 beats per minute. And then at 110 beats per minute. And finally, 120 beats per minute. Which is double 60, by the way, okay? So 120 is where you're going to stop. We've done 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. We've done 7 tempos. So here's what you're gonna do. In day 1, you're going to play 60 beats per minute, what you saw earlier, for about anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes, okay? Then you're gonna play in 70 for about a minute to 5 minutes. Then you're going to play in 80, in 90, 100, 110, 120. That's day 1. That's about 7 minutes to 35 minutes. Okay, day 2, you're going to do the same thing. However, you're going to now do 61, 71, 81, 91, 101, 111, and 121. Those are your 7 tempo ranges for day 2. Okay? Day 3, you guessed it, 62, 72, 82, 92, 102, 112, 122. That's day 3. And day 4, 63, 73, 83. You get it, that's the sequence, okay? So you keep doing this until you get to day 10. So day 10 would be 69, 79, 89, 99, 109, 119, 129. So in 10 days, you will have covered 60 beats per minute all the way down to 129 beats per minute. That's a lot of tempo ranges. Now, why is that so important? Because whatever tempo you're asked to play to, you have already played at that tempo. And your muscle memory is there. And you'll be able to play at that tempo without having to rush or slow down. Now you might be wondering, well, what about the tempos below 60 and the tempos above 129? Well, here's the thing. When you play in 70 beats per minute, for example, you're really also playing in 140 because that's twice, right? 2 times 70 is 140. So if you can play in 70, you should be able to play in 140. It's twice the speed, but in terms of the tempo, consciousness, it's the same. So this is why we do 60 to 129, because it covers it all. Okay, hope that makes sense. I will mention again that when you are practicing at a certain tempo, you stay there. 5 minutes, 1 minute for those who don't have too much time in their lives. 1 minute is better than 0 minutes, okay? So there you go. What happens after the 10 days? Well, you have a few options. After 10 days, you can rinse and repeat. You can do the whole thing again, another 10 days if you like. Or you can come up with a monthly plan where the first 10 days of the month, when you do all the tempos, you're strictly just going to do time, just grooves, okay? And then on the next set of 10 days, you'll be doing the opposite of drum beats. You'll be doing soloing, the opposite. You're just soloing, okay? Solo at 60, solo at 70, and so on and so on. I mean, that's a lot of depth. That's a lot of time putting into soloing and not playing any grooves, right? That's really going to help your soloing and drum fills, because a fill is really a miniature little solo. That's really what a fill is, right? It's a little miniature little solo that gets squeezed in between time, if you like. So on the next set of 10 days, you can focus on both time and actual drum fills, where you're doing phrases like 1 bar time, 1 bar fill for all the tempos. I mean, the sky's the limit with this thing. This is a very powerful exercise because it allows you to cover all those tempo ranges. So I will have for you to download in the description below. I'm going to have a PDF of all the tempo ranges just so that you have it and you can use it to check it off when you practice. In conclusion, I'd like to say thank you for sticking around. Try this out. I guarantee you, I promise, this is going to really improve your timing. It's going to maintain your timing for those who have good time, okay? So once again, please, if you like this video, click like. If you haven't subscribed already, somewhere in here, you're able to subscribe. If you want to watch my first video where I demonstrate playing in 19, you'll see it somewhere above here. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next video.